So it's about 1 o'clock. I've been up since about 11:30 today. I fell asleep sometime around 5. I didn't get any actual listening done last night like I claimed. Instead, I'm focused on trying to ensure that I can get the vlogs for the last couple of days up, um, so that I can just disconnect from the internet completely for a few days. So I've got one more vlog that's saving, and I'll have to upload that. That should be done within a few hours. I'm gonna get something to eat, start my day, and by the time I get there, I should be able to just disconnect from the internet. And I will be off the internet until around midnight on the 27th. At which point I can start. Well, I'll upload the vlog for the. I guess it would be for the 19th on the 27th at midnight. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's a few days up right now, although you won't see this for a week. And see, just keeping the internet unplugged for a few days is going to help me just minimize anything. Whether it seems to be one of the few things that I can actually control. So doing that is I don't have more than a few days worth of mixing left to finish this project, and I wanted it done by the 1st, so I'm almost there. It's just getting all this up ahead of time will just help me just like forget about the internet for a few days kind of thing, which is what I have to do. So I'm almost there, and I'll be starting some serious mixing down this afternoon. I am going to have to do some listening this afternoon. So it'll be a little bit later this afternoon that I get the mixing in, but I'm turning a corner here. It's almost done finally. So it's almost 4 o'clock, and I just unplugged my modem. I think it'll be off until close to Saturday night. It'll be either Saturday night or when I finish this project, whichever happens first, kind of thing. It'll probably be before Saturday night, but it'll be off for a few days anyways. I'm gonna get something to eat, then do some listening. It actually probably won't be until later this evening that I get some actual mixing done, but the laptop is exporting something right now. When that's done, it'll be off. So that's everything off today is Wednesday, so for a few days anyways. And see how much of a difference that makes and how much I can get done in that time period. Okay, it's around 10 o'clock and I've come to a few conclusions. The first is that there's no interference in here tonight. I don't know if that's because I turned the computer or the internet off, or if it's because it's quiet for the night. But it seems to be clear for right now. The second is that the bass seems to be going down a little bit as I listen to it a little bit more. They may indicate that I don't know, something was tweaked. Maybe the magnets were a little bit strong on factory, and it comes down a little out of use. It might even be a marketing scam. I don't know. But I know that it's nice that it's come down a little because it was really it's not that the amount of bass was rough. It was just the fact that it was really focused on a specific frequency and it was killing everything around it. But it's come down a little. It's been sounding better and better. I'm going to continue with the listening for a few more hours. I might not get anything else done tonight, but that's okay. If I wake up fresh tomorrow and go right into the other room, which is, I'm pretty sure, what I'm going to end up doing. The function of all of this was to demonstrate to myself that I need new cables, and I have done that. It might be a few weeks before I buy any, but I think it's pretty clear that whatever it is that's affecting those phones it's not affecting the other ones at nearly the same level. So that would suggest the cables are a proper investment. I think I'm just going to be listening for that tonight and get back to work tomorrow. So I think I've got some good news with these phones and a reanalysis as to how useful they are to me. When I first bought the phones, I just put them on, as you would put a pair of headphones on, just like that, right? With it pointing up. And I noticed that they were maybe a little off. They felt a little uncomfortable. I figured I'd get used to them, whatever, right? And so I'm walking around doing groceries, and I'm noticing they're really bassy, really boomy. And it's actually sounding relatively good. I'm outside. I guess there's lots of noise, and the boom is kind of chasing it off, right? So I get home and I sit down, and they're just like, the bass is just going off the wall, right? So I'm sitting down and I'm thinking, these don't really fit right. How can I get them to fit right? And I'm realizing that they fit right if I push them forward a little, right? I'm thinking that doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're backwards. So I took them off. And I put them on the other way with the right, I just switched them around. So I have the right where it says left and the left where it says right. And they're fitting better that way. It's because they're noise isolating phones. They're not noise canceling, so they don't have like an electronics unit in it. It's more just the way the phones are shaped. They're on kind of an angle. It's kind of ovaled, right? So in order for it to really close your ear off, it has to be sitting on your ears in a certain way. So I'm sitting here over the last couple of days thinking, what do I do here? These are really bassy phones. Can I find a use for them? And thinking, okay, well, there's always a use for a sound, and I have had bassy phones before, and they have been useful. But when I'm sitting down here to listen to something, I eventually make the decision that I'm going to lie down, and then all of a sudden it makes sense, right? Because when you put them on, if you're lying down, you are actually going to pull your phones forward a little bit. So you're going to want them to sit like this when you're lying down, as opposed to like this when you're standing up. And as soon as I sat down them like that, and pushed them forward like this, the physics made sense, or the physics locked in. The magnets, all the interference disappeared, all the noise closing, and all the cupping and everything. All the systems in the phone started working properly. And what became exposed was a pair of very balanced, fairly clear, if a little bassy, phones that are certainly not as nice as my 442s when they work right, but are probably useful enough to actually do a little bit of stopgap mixing with. So long as I have them on my head right, and I'm lying down. It's got me wondering whether or not I ever actually want to take these phones to the house. I may actually hang on to these as inside phones and just listen to them lying down. The only way I can actually have them ordered right, if I'm walking out and about, would be to flip the sides around. Otherwise, they're going to be very bassy as I'm walking around, which may actually, it might be designed that way, right? By putting it up in the normal way, I might be setting something off and getting the magnets to distort or something like that. But if you've got a pair of phones like these, they're 449s. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you're lying down so that it goes in your ear properly, and then you will get an almost studio quality pair of phones. They're not quite there, but they are quite nice. It's quite an enjoyable listening experience, and I would say that these are acceptable phones to listen to my music with, from what I've heard so far. In fact, they may be almost good enough to mix with. So if I actually end up, like I say, if I end up mixing a few tracks of these, I'm probably going to leave them here, and I'll get a pair of I guess they had them at 201s. They had like $50, $60 phones that looked like they were probably just fine for walking around in, and that were just so that I can have them straight up. I don't want to walk around with my phones in my forehead. They will break that way. But yeah, um, I needed some trial and error to figure out how to get these phones to work, but they do sound good, and I am happy about this at this point. So it's around 8 o'clock. I just woke up from a little bit of a nap. And I finished listening to the second um, J record, um, the one from 2002, last night in the state that it was meant to be listened to in. And this is a very difficult record to reproduce. It's got sounds all over the spectrum in very strong dynamics. And these ones actually did a pretty good job. I mean, not perfectly. There's a few points of criticism, but they did a good job overall. So I am comfortable mixing with these. I think I'm just going to verify that by having a smoke and then listening to the new material. I just wanted to get a bass line down. That was the point of listening to the older stuff. Does the older stuff sound about how I think it should? And it does. So what does the newer stuff sound like? Is it exceedingly bassy? If that's the case, then maybe I mix it a little bit too bassy. But I'm not expecting that at this point. I'm expecting it to sound right at this point. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to actually go to sleep for the night and wake up, do some mixing, and then get some pizza, because that's what I get.